girl Mooney 69 Ways, and I'm here to talk about Reasonable Doubt Season 3, Episode 5. Yes, this episode, things are turning up. It's the beginning of Ozzie trial. Yeah, things are getting tense at best. But before I get into this episode, make sure you are hitting that subscribe button if you are new here, and hit that like button for your girl. If you see that hype button, go ahead, tap, 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 and hype the video up. I would really appreciate it. But the episode began like, let me just say that the music for this series is top tier chef kiss, okay? Because the music selection is okay. Every day we hustling. Every day I'm hustling. Like, yeah, it was just great music selection because that's what the episode started with that song. And we see a montage of everybody getting ready for this trial. Okay, we see Jax getting ready, and we see Monica the Predator is getting Ozzie ready. Have him get dressed, and I guess she popped something in his mouth like a pill or something. I don't know, but yeah, we already know she's a predator, an enabler, yeah, of his drug habit. Um, so they get ready. We get to the court. We see protesters outside cheering or hating. Either you on Ozzy's side or you not. And yeah, so this is it. Basically the court opens with the prosecutor and Jax is giving a opening statement. Basically the prosecutor wants the jury to look at Ozzy not as his character but as a unaliver, like reality. Like, this is not a TV show. This is not his one of his characters he played. This is real life, and he's an unaliver, and he's dangerous basically. So he want them to look at the evidence, make a decision based off the evidence, not based on what character he played, basically. So Jax took the approach like, okay, he may be an actor, but that's not who he is. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's more than an actor, and there's no it's only circumstantial evidence. It's not nothing concrete that he did this because of the video. He was just, just one of those arguments with your girlfriend. um yeah, so he just been a bad boyfriend. That's basically what she said it is. There's nothing concrete that he was there at the scene of the crime. So he had a bad argument with his girlfriend and he went in the house and got high. Basically that's it. So they really didn't have nothing. And we know that Ozzy don't really have a concrete alibi, and he does have an alibi, but it will have other parties involved. I guess that Ozzy don't want them to be involved because we know at the end of last episode when Daniel went to stole and read Ozzy journals, that we learned that Monica, his agent, was on him since he was 13, preying on him since he was 13, ate him with drugs and stuff. So yeah, so we know that's who his abuser were. Okay, so and yeah, and course proceedings begins. Okay. So we get a scene. We was at Ozzy's house. Like I said, he doesn't have an alibi. Jack's trying to pressure him to give him an alibi. Like, we have to give them the jury something to let you know that you was at this house. Okay. So he says he was here alone, high, and he said he revealed that he usually watched for the first 48 while he's high, and Jax was looking like, I don't feel comfortable telling the jury that you watching crime show while your girlfriend was being unalive. Is unalive. Like, yeah, it's kind of like crazy. That's what you watch. You watch a crime show while you on trial for your girlfriend being unalive. It's crazy, but it still would be an alibi. But Daniel was there, and he said he can see his timestamps from the IP, what he was watching, that he was here or whatever. I'm like, but you could just have a TV run, can you? And leave the house. You could just have the TV on. You don't have to be in the house just to watch it. How you know he was legit there watching it? That's the other thing for me. But yeah, so Kristin with the ghost show, then you the password and stuff, while Jax talked to Ozzy, because she sat down once Daniel now left the room. She sat down. She said, "Let's talk about Monica." He's like, "What about Monica?" And she said, "I know that she is the one who was sexually abusing you since you was 13." And he's like, "What? Where you get that from? Who told you that?" And she was looking like she suspected it, and you just told me. But we all know that we got it from his journal. that Daniel stole. So um he said no, Monica wasn't there with him, and Jax just said, how can you have this person around you? How could you have this person around you when you know what she did to you? Like, Jax don't get it, don't understand it, and she upset on his behalf about it. But yeah, so he was starting to get in the shakes. She thought it was withdrawals, but she said, "Oh, you triggered because this kind of subject triggers him and stuff like that." And when he's triggered, he usually wants to get high. That's when he takes something. He said so. He also said, "Do not tell his parents because they don't need nothing else to worry about." We know. I want to see the parents' reaction when this bomb drop. I'm not gonna hold you. When this ball drop, that Monica is the one who abusing him since he was 13. I love to see the parents' reaction because, wow, you had this predator in your home around your kid this whole time. Yeah, without even knowing. Oh, they could have known. I don't know. It'd be wild if they have known and they just turn a blind eye. I'd be too through. Okay, too through. And then we see Daniel and Kristin. Every time they get on my screen, I roll my eyes because Daniel, he had like he never had a girlfriend before or something. That's the way he's like drooling over Kristin, and he kind of peeked her phone because she was trying to get some off the TV. They was on Hulu. Can you imagine that? The TV was on Hulu. She's trying to get the passwords. She said that's not working. She got her phone. Then we see fuck no in her phone. Somebody listed as that, and he was like, "Who's that? Like, you and somebody at the cold shoulder? Is it a girlfriend or a boyfriend and stuff like that?" Because he was just trying to fish. Because I guess he was kind of jealous and stuff. He just kept rambling on and on, and that's when she kissed him, and I just rolled my eyes because it's giving Daniel is acting simp now. Sometimes he could be with it, and then she distracted him with this kiss so he could like calm down, stop asking and grilling her with all these questions. So she kissed him. She said no, it's not a boyfriend or whatever, and they kiss again and just call him. We're gonna talk about Daniel and Kristin later because it just pissed me off. I'm not gonna hold you. It just pissed me off for real. Yeah, so Kristin did drop the logins, airdrop the logins to Daniel. So let's get back to the court. So we back at court, right? So we have Detective Victor Moreno and we have Dr. Archie Golden. So it's like a back and forth between prosecutors and Jack and stuff. And yeah, it was some good information that came out of this line of questioning to both uh witnesses. So for the detective Victor Moreno, he's the lead homicide detective. And we found out that from the and Dr. Archie is the medical examiner. I'm sorry, and we found out that Miss Wendy Collins, she had suffered a gun wound to the right arm, a lot of blood loss, hemorrhage. She hemorrhaged to death, basically. And then she also found rope burns on her wrists and ankles. Okay, and bruises to her face and abdomen. So she could have been in a fight, but they're not sure. And then we also see the detective said there was also scratches on Ozzie's chest, which we saw. Um, and the detective think that it's from Wendy due to struggling, I guess, in a fight before her death. Okay, but then Jax asks, "Okay, was there DNA under Wendy's fingernails?" The detective said no. Okay, um, was his fingerprints found on the gun? And the detective said no, they were not. And Jax made a point like, of course, his DNA or his hair gonna be on the victim body because they had an intimate relationship. So it's possible that his DNA will be found on her body somewhere. Okay, but so the what's his name? Bill asked the medical examiner a question, and he asked her was she like a fan of Ozzie. She said she's not a fan. But she kind of neutral, okay. And then they pop up with her tweet saying how Ozzie is a dickhead. He's a rooted celebrity she ever met due to he didn't get her 8-year old daughter or son an autograph or something. It was wild, but yeah, Jacksonville was on it, okay, with these questions. Um, we also learned that they never found Wendy's personal phone when they did the search warrant on Ozzie's house. They never found her phone there, her personal phone there. Her car wasn't at the cabin. And then Jax asked, like, she made a point, like, there was like a number of burglaries in the area of Ozzie cabin. And she asked, like, did you check and see, like, was there like any connection for those crimes to this one of Wendy unaliving at the cabinet? And he said no. And because his reason were like there was no forced entry in the cabin, and there was a lot of heavy, I guess, circumstantial evidence that was pointing towards Ozzie. And he said usually the boyfriend or the husband is usually the suspect of these unalivings of a loved one or whatever. I'm like, that's it, but none of this evidence are concrete. There's nothing to say, gotcha, pop out, gotcha, whatever his slogan is, but there's nothing concrete, and we know he doesn't have an alibi. Still doesn't have an alibi, so yeah. But even with that, he not having an alibi. It's just the stuff that we found out during this cross-examination. It's like there's nothing concrete, circumstantial at best, but nothing puts him there. There's no fingerprint on the gun. It's just, yeah, no DNA under Wendy's fingernails to see that she scratched him or not. Like, yeah, so it's not looking good on the prosecutor side. That's all I'm gonna say. But Bill and Jax, they were doing their thing. They was doing their thing, and Ozzie and his facial expressions. I'm gonna need him to get it together, okay? It definitely given that he hiding something. It's like he telling half truths and stuff like that. So we shall see as time go on, okay? So we get a scene with Mama Lou and her friends. They walk in, I think, like in this park or what have you, and Jax is there by her car, and she see her daughter Jax, and she bragging about her daughter Jax, taking over that Ozzie Edwards case, and yeah. So Jax talked to her mama sternly.
If you want to tell my father what he missed, then tell the entire story. Once again, you are interfering in my relationship with my father, with my husband, and with my kids. Yeah, I know about Eddie meeting them too.
First of all, watch your tongue. At the end of the day, I'm still your mother. I don't care how bad you think you are in them heels. I'm the one that taught you how to walk, how to talk, how to wipe your ass. And second of all, you always love to blame me for everything bad that happens to you. Well, I wasn't the one to tell you to mess with Damon or get yourself sued by your husband's side piece. No, that was all you, baby girl.
She asked the question, why are you spilling all my tea to Eddie? That's a good question because I want to know too. And she was like, what are you talking about? Acting all dumb. You know what she's talking about. And she's like, how Lewis approached Eddie about taking it slow with the kids, and then Eddie threw up the whole Damon and Tony situation of it all. And Mama Lou said that he's your father, he wanna know everything. And it's good to have somebody to talk to about these things since I can't talk to nobody about it. And just like, if I want him to know that, that's my information to spill. Like, I spill what I want him to know, basically. Rightfully so, because like you're a stranger. We was estranged for a long time. Like, you been MIA. So baby steps, okay? It's not her place to like force or rush this, like y'all always been a happy family. Don't create this illusion. Let's call it what it is, okay? And you crossed that boundary, okay? And so Jack said, "Oh, I get it. It's all about you." And that you up there pillow talking with Eddie and stuff, like, which I had nothing else to talk about. And she said, "Did you tell what Paul did to me?" I said, "Good question, Jax. Good question. Did you, Mama Lou? Did you tell Eddie what your then boyfriend husband did to Jax when she was young?" I didn't think so. And that's what Jax said. She like, right. I didn't think so because like, if you gonna tell my business, if you gonna tell the whole story, what went down when I was young, when Eddie was MIA, okay? Tell the whole story. And then you interfering. She told Mama Lou that she interfering with her relationship with her dad, her father and husband and kids, and she said she knows that she knows about Eddie meeting the kids when Mama Lou was babysitting. Okay, so Mama Lou got up and talked with her sass. Mama Lou said, like, watch your tongue. At the end of the day, I'm still your mother. And I'm like, and so? And Jax wasn't disrespectful because, well, from I seen some disrespectfulness between mother and daughter. You never thought they was mother and daughter the way they was talking to each other and getting down on the pavement, okay? But yeah, I don't think Jackson was disrespectful. She was just, talking to you like stern, like, yo, you crossing boundaries. I appreciate you spilling all my tea to Eddie because he's basically a stranger. And if I let him know what I want him to know, basically. And you crossed the boundaries of him meeting my kids without me even knowing, without my permission. Okay. And I'm still, I hate that I'm still your mother. Yeah, of course. Like I ain't asked to be here, but it's all about respect, respect across the board for me. If you don't get no respect, then you ain't getting none either. Okay, so it's like I meet you where you at. That's me. Okay. You always want to blame me for all your screw ups and what happened in your life choices or whatever. I ain't tell you to mess with Damon or whatever, have your husband mess with a woman to have a child. She was just you always want to blame me. So when I'm dead and gone, who else you gonna blame for your life screw ups, basically. I'm like, we see where Jax get the sass from. Okay, and Jax and Mama Lou have something in common. They don't like to take accountability. Lack accountability at best, okay? No accountability whatsoever. Yeah.
So you wanted to talk? Talk.
Ever since the trial started, reporters been snooping around my spot, taking pictures, digging through my trash. The attention's blowing up my business. Yeah. So let's just say yesterday's price isn't today's price. I'm gonna need some more travel funds to skip town, like 100K more.
You go through 10K already.
LA's expensive. Or well, you don't have a famous brother to live off of.
Guess it pays better to be a failed actor then, huh?
You know what, Kristin? I thought you were the reasonable one. But now I see all of you Edwards are the same. Some high yellow sedity looking down on me. But you know what? You're gonna realize that me over was the worst thing you could have ever done. Because if I don't have that money to skip town, maybe I'll give that prosecutor guy, Chad, a call back.
So, we see Kristin is at the house chilling, then we hear a doorbell knock happen, then guess who's at the door, y'all? It's good old Alex, the Alex we saw in like episode 3 or whatever. And the ex-child star who was under Ozzie on that show. So he came by, talked to Kristin. They want to talk about Wendy. He said he want to talk about Wendy. At first, Kristin was like, "What are you doing here? Get out of here!" And he said, "I'm here to talk about Wendy." And then she said, "Come in." He said reporters and stuff is snooping around his spots. And yesterday's price isn't today's price, okay? And she asked about the 10K he spent because he said he need 100K. And she said, "Dang, you spent the 10K already?" He said, "Living in Hollywood is expensive or whatever." And by the reporter and stuff slipping around his house, it's bad for his business. You already know business. He's in a drug business, okay? And she's like, "We ain't got the money." She said, "I don't have that money laying around. I can't go into a bank account just get that money." And then he called them the Edwards, some high yellow sedity ninjas. And he said maybe he started to do some, like, I guess some kind of blackmail stuff, because he said he was gonna call maybe he should call the prosecutor Chad or send in the home video to TZT. And I'm looking like, what home video? Because she's looking like, what video? And I'm like, girl, you need to see what he talking about. But I would like to know what home video he talking about, because what? Okay. That home video could be anything. I'm like, do you really got a video, Alex? So Kristin said she told Alex that she needed more time, like 3 days. Well, few days, I should say. to get the money because he asked for 100K. Okay, so Alex, as he was leaving, talking about excuses like assholes. Everybody got one, and Kristin is looking stunned because now she got to come up with this money. That's what she's thinking. To get rid of Alex. So we also see a scene where we see Lewis and sitting down to meet Daniel. Daniel is shocked to meet Lewis. Lewis asked about a tracker to track Eddie because he said he's worried about his family, and he don't want Eddie to hurt his family. Daniel should suggest to Daniel suggests to let it play out, and I kind of agree on him with that. I understand Lewis' position of it as well, but yeah, I wish he would just let it play out a little bit. But like I said, Lewis has said he's concerned for his family, so then Daniel jokingly talking about you can make a homemade one with self-destruction because all of Daniel's trackers are in use at that moment. And it was just funny. Daniel was kind of his funny moments. And Lewis looking like, what? Self-destruction to make Eddie go boom. That was funny. But he also showed him a website where he can order one. He can get one the next day, like Amazon. And also we saw later that Lewis did. He got the tracker, put the tracker on Eddie's car, and as he saw Jax leaving the motel room. And we also see later him tracking Eddie, and we see Eddie with one of his pals going to some room, somebody place. Don't know who that is. It could be a drug dealer, or it could be a meeting. It could be a sponsor house. I don't know. Okay, so we shall see, I guess, later. Hopefully we'll see that later in the season. And we also see him meeting back up with Daniel later in the episode to tell him that he thinks that Eddie has relapsed, and he is so concerned, and he's concerned about the kids and his wife and Jax and them getting hurt if Eddie relapse. Okay, so he hiring Daniel to do more digging on Eddie and stuff, and he will pay him. So we shall see how that turns out, and if Jax will find out and how she will react to that. I understand your concern, but it's like a fine line when you moving the way you moving. Okay, that's your wife's father, whether he's on the up and up or not, or strange or not. So it should be more of her concern for as Eddie getting to know being in her life and stuff like that. So I don't know how that's gonna play out. I can't wait to see how it plays out. Yeah, so that's Lewis's in part in this whole show. That's all Lewis was doing, was playing detective, okay? With Eddie. So we back at court. So we see some other two witnesses being cross-examined. One of them name is Anel Keith, which was Ozzie's old girlfriend, and John Chang, which is Ozzie's neighbor for 6 years. That's the neighbor who had the like a ring cam video of him and Wendy arguing, and they also showed that in court. And I think Jax asked, or was Bill asked, was he concerned about anybody's life that night after seeing that argument. But John Chang shared that he used to see Ozzie arguing with people, like even the delivery person. He used to seeing that on his video, on his ring cam or what have you. And when it comes to Anel Keith, his old girlfriend, it showed that she filed a police report because Ozzie grabbed her face during one of their arguments. I'm like, one of? Child, Ozzie, you got an anger problem. But yeah, so she got filed a police report against him for doing that. But when Jax asked, it was Jax's turn to cross-examine her. Jax came up like with a file and said, "What is this? Like, you filed that Ozzie?" She asked, "Do you know what this is?" She said, the girl said, "This is Ozzie filing a restraining order against Anel." And mind you, when he grabbed her face during one of the arguments, she was at his house. So that's going up against the restraining order that Ozzie had against her before she filed that police report. So it's like null and void. Like, you already violated the restraining order by going to his house. So that police report against him is like voided out. So yeah. We get a scene where Jax is out with the ladies. She talked to Autumn first about Ozzie, share how Monica, his agent, is the abuser. Okay, so Autumn said with Wendy being dead and Monica still being around, who said the abuse hasn't started. I think I said it in my last video, my solo video. That was the move. So I called it out. Like that would be a move for real to gain power, back control of Ozzie. So plus he got a drug addiction, so Jack is real concerned about Ozzie. And she said maybe you can talk to your father Eddie to get some insight on Ozzie addiction. And she said, I know that Lewis wants you to stay clear of this man, but it's up to you. That should be your call, whatever, and stuff like that. And we also find out that Autumn is 5 months pregnant. I'm like, wow, time went by fast. Going by fast here. But so we see the other ladies, Chanel and Sally, join them, and Autumn asks her about how the kids dealing with the separation. Sally was uncomfortable answering, and then Chanel was buckling down on the same question because she said we are hopeful. She said CJ kind of has some suspicion of it, so they gonna tell them about the separation. They think it's time. She think it's time to tell the kids about the separation. And she said Sally said she is hopeful with the communication, I guess, the seeing each other, whatever, that they can get back together and not a divorce, okay? And, Chanel is side-eyeing her for real. And, Jack's trying to support her. Then we see outside Jax apologize to Sally about being harsh for what she said last time. She loved her. She just don't want her to be on that roller coaster with Chris. Like, will they, won't they? Because due to what her and Louis been through and stuff like that. And, she just don't want Sally to be the only one fighting for a relationship. They both have to be fighting for it and willing to date one another and start anew. But she just don't want her to be the only one fighting, and I agree with that part. She don't want her to look stupid. Then they hug, they make up and hug, and she's talking about some hoes need hugs too. And so do haters, Jack said. So that was a cute moment between the two. Cute moment. We see Jack stop by Eddie's motel, like Autumn said, get some insights about addiction. And we know Eddie knows that too well. But she stopped by his motel unannounced. And Jax told him, I'm going to need you to respect my husband. Stop coming to my house unannounced. He said, oh, just like you did. She said, touche. Because he made like an inside joke, like not inside joke, but a little joke about Louis making enough money to support his family. Because she said he's working late. But we know he was out there putting a tracker under Eddie's car, so there's that. And she said she had some questions for him. He said, okay. And she just asked him how his addiction started. He said drugs everywhere in the music industry, which was true. And he said, she said, who supplies you the drugs? He said, like a promoter here, bandmate, agent, manager. And she got stuck on agent. She's like, agent. Because mind you, Monica is Ozzie agent, okay? So he said that they usually agents, manager, bandmates, whatever, manager and agents particularly, and probably promoters use the substance to control the artist, enable them to enable more interest in you. They are enable more interest in you being broken than being whole. So they can manipulate you while you broken, incoherent, being a drug addict and fiending. And they can hold drugs over your head. Which is crazy. Crazy, wild. But it happens. We hear stories, it happens, unfortunately. Eddie just told Jax that he was full of guilt and shame. And the way to get rid of that is to be doped up to make the pain go away. And he want her to he doesn't want to let his actions of his past to define him. And then they hug. Even stuff like that. So yeah, so we're gonna move over to We see Alex, the prosecutor. Not Alex. Okay, we're gonna move over to see Alex in the prosecutor chat office. He want to talk about Ozzie Edwards, but he said he need protection first. I'm like, I guess a few days went by, so he said, "You ain't got the money. I'm going to see prosecutor Chad," and that's what he did. So we back in court. Nisha McCall on the stand, which is Wendy's assistant, and they were just asking about how is her Wendy and Ozzie relationship. She said she witnessed it being hot and cold. One minute Ozzie is loving her, one minute he can be ignoring her and don't give a damn. She said she knew something was up when Wendy missed the vanity photo shoot, and that's when she got worried. And then she said she called Ozzie to see has he seen Wendy, and he said he don't know where she is and he don't care, which looked bad, sounds bad as that, and it's written all on Ozzie's face when she said that in court. She also, the question was asked, has she ever witnessed him physically harming her and stuff? She said no, and she just said he mean as hell, and then Jack said being mean is not a crime. And is it true that when Wendy and Ozzie get into arguments, sometimes she go out of town for days? And she said like happened like 5 times. So it's like a pattern, I guess, for them. Then she also approached about Nisha like trying to take over Wendy's business, okay? Because we found out that Nisha had sent out an email to Wendy's client saying like, it's her business now and she's taking over the operation. And this is like 3 days after Wendy's disappearance. So they make her look suspicious. Your so-called friend, been missing for 3 days, and you tell her clients you taking over. It's her business now. Suspicious. And I had to laugh because Jax and them did their homework. So that was a good move on Jax's part. So we see Jax approach Monica in the parking garage. Jax wanted Monica to tell the truth about her relationship with Ozzie since he was 13. And that kind of caught off Monica off guard. She said, everything I do to protect that boy from other enablers and women who want his baby inside of them and stuff like that. Her and Jax is going back toe to toe. It was just a good scene between the two of exchanging words, and she said she kind of called Jax out like when they had that dinner about the NDA. She said you didn't even care about Ozzie or to care to just to care about Ozzie, like you was bored, and then until he was suspect for murder, that's when your eyes lit up and the fire got under you and stuff like that. Basically called her a monster. There was a monster in Jackson that like all this kind of stuff. Well, Jax kind of did admit at the beginning of the season that like she wants more like fight. She likes to, go back and forth. She didn't like these easy settlement cases. She liked to fight and solve things. Which was true, child. And then she called it out like lack of validation that she didn't get at home. Like Monica said she didn't get it either. So it's like, yo. But that's when Jack said stay the F away from Ozzie. So. Now Monica looked concerned and kind of shook. So we see Chanel confronts Chris. Because Chris got an apartment. Mind you, they lost the house. We all know what happened. Because I was mad as hell at Sally. Last season. Okay? For doing that move. Of putting the house up for Chanel bail. And then Chanel broke out. Which reneged everything. So, she just confronted Chris about stringing Sally along. I didn't mind her doing that because he low-key is. She said, stop making her your emotional punching bag. And then that's what Chris confessed and said it's deeper than that. He said he was like the first one in his family to own a home and stuff like that, and to see it go down in the shitter. He said, how can I just get over that like overnight or something? And I understand his side too. Like, She did make moves without even talking to me, and I think I said no, and she did it anyway. She didn't consider my feelings or whatever in the whole situation. And what Sally did last season was shitty and messed up. I'm not gonna hold you. Because you is putting your house in jeopardy. I know that's your cousin, but this is your family you created outside of that family. Okay, and that family you created take priority because you married and you with children. Like you risking this house for your cousin. Okay. So yeah, she she told him to like let her go and walk away if she's not what you want. Okay, and we also see later. Excuse me. We saw later that Sally was leaving because they had hooked up again, and he invited her and the kids to Thanksgiving at his parents' house. But Sally kind of got excited at first, and she said, "What brought this on?" And he admitted that it's for the kids. He said he don't think the kids should suffer something. He said like suffer not being around family or something like that. And she looking like, okay, this ninja don't care about me. She gave him the divorce papers, and she said bye. She checked up the deuces, and she said my lawyer will be in contact. And he looking shocked like divorce papers. I'm like, you stringing her along. Talking about they need to figure it out. Y'all been figuring it out for what, over a year now? So it's like, no, she figured it out. She went out, okay, because you keep stringing her along. And I'm not mad at that move. I'm not mad at her for doing that. So there's that. So we see Chad consulting Mike. Cause remember Mike from last year. Because he going up against Jax. Okay, Mike had experience with Jax in the court, and he just discussing this new witness. The new witness is Alex. Okay, and Bill and Jax just found out about Alex as well as being a witness. And they confronted Ozzie about it and not being alone, about not being alone that night. Okay, about not being alone that night, and Ozzie admitted that Alex went MIA on him, so he didn't bring it up. But he said he called Alex for some candy, and they got high together, and he was like, then he passed out. He remember passing out. Okay, but they said according to Alex said something different. Alex said he's the one that drove him up to the cabin and stuff like that the night of Wendy unaliving. So yeah, so Alex is singing a different tune in the documents. Okay. What else happened? So we see they in court now. We see Alex on the stand. We found out that Alex was the actor playing Ozzie older brother on My Cousin and Them TV show. And Alex explaining like what happened when they got to the cabin. Cause man, Ozzie said he got high, passed out. He went to bed. He was at the house chilling. Alex saying that they got high, they drove to the cabin. Okay, that's basically what Alex is saying. But as he was explaining what happened when they got to the so-called cabin, then you notice Kristin being fidgety and looked nervous. So that's when he wrote down Alice equals F no. And they asked him like, what did you see? What did you witness? What happened when y'all got to the cabin? And that's when he said that he get out the car because Ozzie was taking forever. And he saw Ozzie yelling at Winnie through the window. And Winnie was crying, and then later he heard gunshots, and he drove the hell on and got the hell out of there. So you left Ozzie. So you did figure out what happened. That's what he said. And then Ozzie wrote down on the pad, said that he is lying. And Jax said she already know. Jax got it covered. So it was Jax's turn to cross-examine. Is there she asked the defendant she asked Alex, is there a picture showing the defendant with you? He says no. And all he had was the toll receipt that he went to the cabin, basically. So she said there's no proof that Ozzie was there with you, correct? And he said, yeah. Besides acting, what else do you do for a living? He said he's the CEO of his own business. I'm like, really? Alex did she show him his rap sheet? She said, what's this? And he said he got it's his rap sheet, and he got a rap sheet for basically selling drugs. Then she asked, did he sell drugs to Ozzie on the night in question? And how was he with the drugs and stuff like that? And he said yes, and he said he was pretty high and he was in and out of it. She said if he's in and out of it, how did he had enough coherent to commit this crime, whatever. And she said you ain't acting like in the last 10 years, so. And then that's when he said he got to pay the bills somehow, right? By selling these drugs to these people. And Ozzie is one of them because he was acting so nonchalant, like he didn't care. He didn't care about Ozzie well-being. I mean, he's a drug dealer. He don't care as long as he got the money, as long as he gets money. Okay, so everything went downhill when Jax got to cross-examine Alex, and let's just say the prosecutor Chad went in his office and started throwing stuff and fighting the air. It was just funny. Because he thought he had one. He thought he had a win with this witness Alex, but no, Alex wasn't truthful, and he should have did his homework on this young man. To be honest, that's what I think Prosecutor Chad messed up. So, in my opinion, it does look like Monica, like I said, unalive it, but it's also looking like someone else. So let me get to the someone else. So we see Kristin over Daniel's house. Daniel asks, because she brought over a game. I guess they supposed to play this game, board game, or whatever. And Daniel asks, like, why she lied about Alex. Because he knows that he is the F no in her phone that been calling her. And she said, I told you he wasn't an annoying friend. He was. And she just explained how he was a hanger on after the cousin in them show didn't work out for him. And he was just a hanger on actor or whatever. And it was annoying. I guess trying to ask for help for his career. She didn't know how badly, but she said she didn't know how badly he was treating Ozzie, like by getting him high stuff, getting him drug stuff. And then she just said she doesn't want to talk about it. And when she was explaining this stuff to him, she had her back to him. I'm like, why you can't turn around and say these things to him? Like, is you lying or something? Your involvement with Alex, how deep it goes, like in this Winnie thing. So I need to know. So, yeah, so she said she don't talk about it anymore. Just started to make out and get undressed. And let's just say Daniel is got a nice body to be a little thing. So as they was, doing a do, Jackson was calling Daniel's phone, and she left a message that she needs him to look into Monica's alibi, and she thinks that she's underlying Wendy. And we see also Ozzie calling Monica, so he needs someone to talk about what just happened in court today with the whole Alex thing. And we see her burning the shirt while she's on the phone with him. She's burning the shirt that has blood on it. And while she's talking to Ozzie, and he asks her, like, what is she doing? And she's like, protecting you. And that's what the episode ends. So it looked like a sweatshirt or a shirt with blood on it. Who blood is it? I don't know. It could be his blood from the scratches. I don't know. I don't know if she's protecting herself by, burning it, because I don't know. Or this or Ozzie had a blackout situation. He could have unalive Wendy, then can't remember about it. I don't know. Or she borrowed his sweatshirt, or someone borrowed Ozzie clothing and wore it, and when they unalive Wendy. I don't know. I just got all these thoughts and theories about who did it, because it could be Monica, like I said, to protect, to get Wendy out of the way. Because mind you, Wendy is messing up the everybody thing. Because mind you, he went to his parents, said that he is at the business. He's no longer taking that movie project that's supposed to take him to the next level for his acting and career wise. And he's no longer, want them around, want them on his team, basically. So he's making all these major moves, and it's due to Wendy that he's sober, right? And it could be like her coming in, giving him drugs, getting him back high again, and getting her out the way so she can manipulate him. It could be her and the sister, as far as I'm concerned, because the sister is like, I don't know if she's really concerned because it seems like she's hiding something as well. Because she still could want Wendy out the way as well. The sister could want Wendy out the way as well. Because mind you, if Ozzie stopped working, the money stops, right? So she could be setting up her brother, in my opinion. But by the way, of help of Alex, I can see that too. I don't know what the parents fit in it. I don't know if they don't know anything or not. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it was Monica and a sister doing something together with Alex, with Wendy of it all, because they said she had ropes burns on her wrist and ankle, so and her car wasn't there, so y'all must have snatched her up off the road or something. I don't know. Or Wendy could have been upset at Ozzie and she needs someone to talk to. She ran into his sister and who knows. Or Monica and they pretend and they just snatched her and beat her down. Okay? I don't know. My mind is going wild with these theories of what happened, who actually did it. Yeah, so if y'all got any theories or any thoughts y'all would like to share in the comments, please put them down below. I would greatly appreciate it. And let's have a conversation about it. Like, who do you think done it? And is Kristin a red herring? Is she moving funny or is she just awkwardly weird? Okay, and I think Daniel crossed all the lines sleeping with this client's sister, in my opinion. So I don't know how Jax gonna handle that information. So yeah, we shall see what happened in the next episode. So I will see y'all then. Have a good day.